Today we're going to be teaching you about slot cards. What are slot cards? Well, slot cards are basically a deck of cards into which you cut slots along the edges of each card. Once you've done this, you can assemble these cards into miniature shelters. For more information, go to our website.
Materials. You need a ruler, a pencil, pair of scissors, and possibly tape, and bunch of cardboards.
Step 1. You need a piece of cardboard. I will be using this butter box. And we are going to cut down the box into smaller pieces to get our cards, to create our cards. We're going to measure 4 inches for the long side and 2.5 inches for the short side. Or you could say we're doing 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So step 1 is to measure out the length. The next step is to measure the width. I need 2.5 inches, and I'm kind of lucky because my butter box has a seam exactly at 2.5 inches. I need it at 2.5 inches. I'm not even going to draw the line because the line is right there at the fold. Next step is to actually cut this out. The next step is to cut slots into the card. Step 2. We are now going to turn the card into a slot card. We're first going to measure off where we're going to put the cuts. So taking our ruler, we're going to look at the narrowest section and we're going to divide it in half. We're going to measure the half point of 2.5, which is 1 1/4. I'm going to mark it on this side, middle here, 1 1/4 from the middle here on both sides. The next step is we need to add the slots that appear on the sides of the card here. Again, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch up and 1/2 inch up. And I'm going to draw lines that are 1/2 inch long from the edge of the card. Drawing 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch in. The next step is to actually cut these slots. So you will need a pair of scissors and you will cut along the lines which you just created. You now have a slot card that you can use as a template for your next slot card. So what you can do is cut them down to size. So here's another one I've cut at 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters, or 4 inches by 2.5 inches. I lay the one that's cut on top, and you can use a paper clip if you wish to hold it in place. And then with the scissors, you just cut through and follow those lines that the cut lines you've already created. Work your way around the card. Make sure you do every slot. And then you can take the paper clip off, and you have 2 slot cards. And then you can join them together. And you can take more of them and begin to start building your slot card shelters.
To complete your slot cards, let's add patterns. To do so, you need crayons or color pencils or markers and inspiration. I'm going to repeat the paisley shape on my slot card to create a pattern. Going to start coloring my paisleys in order to make my pattern beautiful and colorful. One card is ready. You're going to do the same thing for other cards you have in order to get beautiful shelters.